Are you taking the IELTS exam this year and looking for some guidance on how to get the highest possible band score? Well, in this video, I'm going to give you up-to-date tips and information to help you successfully prepare for and pass your IELTS exam. You're not going to want to miss this. Hi there everyone, and welcome to another video from Swoosh English. My name is Grace. I am an IELTS teacher and academic manager at Swoosh English. Now I would like to begin this video with a few updates for the IELTS exam. It remains one of the most popular and widely accepted English tests in the world, with over 4 million people taking the IELTS in 2023. Now, last year, the average band score was higher than a 6, with over a third of candidates achieving a 7 or higher. Now, if you would like to be one of those candidates achieving a high band score in IELTS this year, keep watching because I have plenty of study tips and advice to help you get there. Now, last year, IELTS expanded its availability to take the IELTS online test, as well as introducing IELTS 1 skill retake. This means that if you didn't quite get the score that you needed in just one section of the exam, you're now able to retake just that one test, meaning you don't have to take the entire IELTS test again, which is good news for everybody. Okay, now that we're done with the updates, I would like to move on to give you my top study tips for 2024 to get you prepared for and passing your IELTS exam. Let's get started. So these are my top 10 study tips for 2024. Number 1 is to understand the test format. It's really important before you even attempt the IELTS exam that you know exactly what to expect. So make sure you take a look at plenty of practice papers, have a look at the different question types, and know exactly what to expect when you go into the exam. This will help you to feel more confident and ultimately give you a higher chance of getting that top score. Next, it's essential that you know your current level. So before you even start your IELTS preparation, you should take some kind of level or readiness test to see where you're currently at with IELTS. This will then help you to know which areas to focus your study on once you start your preparation. Number 3, be consistent. It's so important that you set some time aside so that you can do a little bit of study, ideally every day. Remember, it's better to do short and frequent study sessions rather than just saving them all up and doing 1 hours-long session at the end of the week. So be consistent and try to study little and often. Focus on your weaknesses. So if you've taken some kind of level or readiness test, you should know what your weaknesses are, and it's really important that you focus on improving in those areas so that you can get them up to the level that you need. If you need help identifying your weaknesses, I recommend that you get support from an expert IELTS teacher who can assess your level and give you some direction to help you know where to study. Next, it's important that you take mock tests. This should generally be done towards the end of your preparation when you think that you are almost ready to book the exam. Take some mock tests and see what levels and scores you're getting. It's important that you don't actually take the real exam until your mock test results are reflecting the score that you want to achieve. So mock tests are a really important indicator of how ready you are to take the exam. Next up, we have practice speaking. Now, if you have a friend or family member who you can do a little bit of speaking practice with every day, that is ideal. Or even better, if you can find a study partner who is also preparing for the IELTS exam, get together once a week and do some practice speaking questions, making sure that you give each other feedback. Now, if you don't have someone that you can practice with, don't worry. It's absolutely fine to just do this by yourself and record yourself speaking. So get some part 2 and part 3 tasks, prepare your answers, and then practice. Remember to record yourself and then listen back to it afterwards and give yourself some feedback on your own performance. This is still really valuable practice, even if you don't have a person that you can speak to. Next is develop writing skills. Now, a lot of people do get quite anxious about the IELTS writing exam, but as long as you've done plenty of practice, there's no need to worry. So make sure you look at lots of sample answers, get yourself some proper official IELTS exam questions that you can study, and then practice timing yourself and writing your response. If you're able to get an expert IELTS teacher to take a look at your writing and regularly give you feedback, this will help you so much more. So it is important that you get support when you are developing your writing skills. Next is to read widely. A lot of people think that the only reading they should do is practice IELTS reading tests. This is not the case. So if you're able to read as much as possible in your spare time, this will really help you develop your reading skills and improve your range of vocabulary. So reading articles, books, journals, websites, anything that you can. Read a little bit in English every day, and remember to record any new vocabulary and review it regularly. And next we have improved listening skills. Now, once again, you don't just have to do practice IELTS listening tests, although of course this is very important, but you can do other types of listening outside of your normal study time. Listen to podcasts, watch YouTube videos, try to watch or listen to something in English a little bit every day, and the same with reading. Record any new vocabulary. So extensive reading and listening in this way can really help contribute towards a higher band score, as it will be developing your overall English level. Next up, we have get expert feedback. Now, this is perhaps the most important tip that I have for you. It is so important that while you are preparing for your IELTS exam, especially with speaking and writing, that you have an expert IELTS teacher who can listen to you speak or read your writing and then give you feedback on your areas of strength and the areas that you need to improve on. So getting expert feedback is super important if you want to get that high band score. So you've followed all the advice and you've done your preparation, but how can you ensure you achieve that high IELTS band score? Well, I'm going to let you in on a few secrets now, starting with number 1, which is to understand the examiner's expectations. Make sure that you have spent plenty of time studying the band score level descriptors, which are widely available online. Make sure you know when you go into the speaking test or the writing test exactly what the examiner is looking for in those higher level band descriptors. So take some time to look at those and make sure you really understand how you can satisfy each of the criteria to help you get as high a band score as possible. If you know what the examiner is looking for, then you are halfway there. All you have to do is do plenty of practice to make sure that on test day you are able to do it. Next up is to be confident using a range of high-level vocabulary and complex grammatical structures. Now, this doesn't mean that you should make your speaking and writing as complex as possible and throw in as much advanced vocabulary as you can. You do need to make sure that you are understandable and that you are natural. But it is important, in order to push your score up to those higher band score levels, that you're able to demonstrate a good command of more complex grammatical structures and a higher level range of vocabulary. So this can be achieved by doing plenty of practice. So when you are doing speaking and writing practice, try to use a range of structures and then use them more and more and become more confident. It is, of course, essential that you're getting feedback from an expert teacher who can correct any mistakes that you might be making. Another way that you can improve your vocabulary is to read as widely as possible and keep a vocabulary list. So if you come across pieces of vocabulary that you think sound useful, impressive, something you might be able to use in your IELTS exam, write it down in your list, review it regularly, and then try to incorporate it into your own speaking and writing. So in this way, you can work on developing your range of those complex structures so that when it comes to test day, you're able to use them confidently and really impress the examiner. Next, practice critical thinking and expressing more complex ideas in speaking and writing. In part 3 of the speaking test, the questions will get a little bit more abstract and you will be tested on your ability to express more complex and abstract thoughts and ideas. So make sure that you're comfortable doing this. Practice doing it by yourself or with another person. Get a few topics or part 3 questions and practice giving your answers until you feel confident using more complex vocabulary and grammar to express those more abstract ideas. The same in writing, so you will need to be able to develop and expand your arguments, and if you're able to do that and think critically and also accurately use all of the correct grammar in order to get your ideas across, that in turn is going to contribute to a much higher band score. Next up is to work on your time management skills. Now, so many people struggle, especially in the writing and reading tests, and you really don't want to be in a position where you know that you are capable of completing the test, but you just ran out of time. If you run out of time and you can't complete the entire test, you're not going to get that high band score that you desire. So how can you solve this problem? Well, the answer is to do plenty of timed practice tests and also know the strategies that you need in order to manage your time effectively. Especially in reading, it's so important that you're using the correct reading skills and you're answering the questions in the most efficient way possible. If you're interested in developing your time management skills in the reading test, please do check out our other YouTube video, which gives plenty of tips and guidance for just that. Now, the next one might come as a bit of a surprise to you, but it is to cultivate a positive attitude and mindset. If you have prepared properly and your teacher has told you that you are ready to take the exam, then you need to make sure that you are going into the exam confident that you can pass. You do not want nerves to destroy your chances of that high band score. So prepare properly, get advice from an expert teacher, and then work on cultivating that positive attitude. You can get that high band score, and you absolutely will. Now, we all know that even if you have properly and thoroughly prepared for your IELTS exam, there is still a high chance that you are going to feel a little bit nervous on test day. So what can you do to help yourself feel more confident and make sure that being nervous doesn't affect your overall score? Well, I'm going to give you some tips now on how you can manage test day nerves. So my first piece of advice for managing test day nerves is to be well prepared in advance and don't cram the night before. This means that all of your preparation should have been done in the months before the test, so that the night before you do not feel like you are trying to cram in some last-minute study. It doesn't work, it's not effective. Anything that you do the night before should be relaxing to help you feel focused and well rested, because any cramming that you do is not really going to help you on test day. Next, have everything ready the night before the test. So pack your bag with everything that you need. Make sure you have some water, your ID, you know exactly where you're going to be going, so how to get to the test centre. Have that all ready. You could even put your clothes out the night before so that all you have to do in the morning is wake up and get dressed and everything is there ready to go. This will help to avoid any last minute rushing, which will ultimately contribute to you feeling more nervous. Next, make sure you get a good night's sleep, ideally somewhere between 7 and 8 hours. It's so important that you are well rested so that when you go into the exam, you are awake and alert and ready to perform. Eat a healthy breakfast and stay hydrated. Even if you're feeling nervous and you don't really feel like eating, it's so important that you have energy. So eat that healthy breakfast, force yourself to eat something, and make sure that you stay hydrated with plenty of water throughout the day, as this will also help you to feel focused when you're in the exam. Plan your route and arrive early at the test centre, so you do not want to be rushing and arriving late and then arriving in a panic and starting the exam feeling stressed. So plan your route the night before, make sure that you give yourself plenty of time and arrive early at the test centre so that when you get there, you are calm and collected. Try some relaxing breathing techniques to help you feel calm. So you can find lots of different breathing techniques online. And it really will help you because it will help you to feel more relaxed. And if you feel more relaxed, then you are probably going to be more focused and then perform much better in the exam. Practice positive visualization. So as I mentioned before, if you have done all of your preparation and you know that you are ready for the exam, visualize this in a positive way. So imagine yourself walking into the test center, you're feeling relaxed, you go into the exam, and you're able to stay focused and perform well, because this is going to help you when you are actually in that situation. Make sure you read all the instructions carefully, so when we're nervous it can cause us to not focus as much or maybe rush through instructions, but it is very important, especially in the IELTS exam, that you read the instructions carefully so that you don't lose easy marks just because you weren't doing exactly what you were supposed to do. Stay focused on the task and don't get distracted. So if you're in the exam, it's because you are ready and you are capable of passing. Don't get distracted by anything around you. Just try to stay as focused as you can on each task as you go through the test. Don't get stuck on one question. So make sure that you're managing your time well. If there's a question, for example, in the reading test that is just too difficult, don't spend time on it. Just leave it and move on and do all of the ones that you can actually complete. If you have time at the end, you can come back to that question, or you can even take your best guess, but you don't want to end up not finishing the exam because you just got stuck on one question. So that's it for this video. I do hope that you found it useful and are now feeling confident that you can achieve that high IELTS band score this year. All you have to do is make sure you prepare properly and you'll be well on your way. Now, if you're looking for some expert help and guidance in your IELTS preparation, I'd like to encourage you to head on over to our website where you can browse our IELTS courses. That's www.swooshenglish.com. When you're there, you will see that there are a variety of courses designed to suit every need. They include things like writing corrections, mock exams, live classes, video courses, and so much more. So head on over to our website and take a look at how Swoosh English can help you prepare for and pass your IELTS exam this year. Thank you so much for joining, everybody, and I will see you soon. Goodbye.